Hello everybody, and welcome to Wounded Healer Tarot. My name is James, and I'll be doing a reading tonight. This particular reading is for the sign of Cancer, and I'll be using the Celtic Cross, or rather I'll be utilizing a Celtic Cross spread, and I will be using the Egyptian Art Nouveau Tarot. Alright, so let's get right into this here. Alright, so representing your present energy, we have the King of Swords. And, from what I see here, there's a love situation from the past that really hurt you. That really put you through the ringer there, and I feel like since then, right, you have no problem expressing to people, this is what I require in a connection. This is, you're setting boundaries, and you're letting people know that you're not afraid to walk away if they cannot, fulfill your needs, if they try to overstep your boundaries or anything of the sort. Now, in the position of your challenge here, we have the Queen of Cups, which interestingly enough is the Cancer card. And I feel like, because of this situation, you've had a very difficult time connecting with yourself. It could have really even thrown you off balance emotionally. I feel like, you may even have difficulty trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, which technically is a part of connecting to yourself. Now, in the position of the past here, exactly what I was saying, the Nine of Wands. This is the Wounded Warrior card here. This is, you're right there, you're right at the end of the road, right? You just need to keep on going. There's just a little bit more left, and you're just feeling so run down, so beaten down, like you really don't feel like you can keep going forward. It's essentially a card of wanting to give up in certain situations. Now, in the position of your future here, we have the Four of Cups. Now, this could really, represent your being closed off to love because of this situation here, right? This could really be speaking to, your unwillingness to connect with others on such a level. Now, in the position of your goals and aspirations here, we have the Ace of Cups. All right, and this to me is speaking of, the ability to really fill yourself up, to emotionally, satisfy yourself to the point that your cup is overflowing, so that when you do give to others, you do not become this depleted again if, it's not reciprocated. I feel like this also speaks, your connection with yourself, because when you can feel that sort of satisfaction with yourself, you don't need somebody else. That's what the overflow is for. The overflow there is, for you to give to others without depleting yourself. And so when you do connect with others, when you do emotionally give to others, there's not so much of a risk whether the person is going to reciprocate or not, whether the situation or individual is going to be worth it or not. Because if it is, or if they're not, it's not going to matter, because what you're giving them is basically free. It's not going to affect your personal reserves. Now, in the position of your subconscious feelings here, we have Justice. And this, to me, even this particular one with the heart and the feather weighed against each other, right? I get this here being like this is something that you subconsciously do because of this at this point is, you're really like weighing how genuine, how pure an individual actually is against this. Like, I feel like maybe in a sense you could be like comparing them to this past person. And that's how you really, that's the gauge that you use to decide whether you're going to, or rather how much even you're going to put into that connection. Now, in the position of your advice here, we have the Seven of Cups, which to me is, there. I feel like you're being asked to get out of Delulu land, right? Move forward, and it's also representing the many other choices that you do have. This one person is not the end of the road, right? They're not the end all be all. There are many. There's a great many other people out there. This one person ain't shit. And then into the position of your external influence here, we have the Two of Cups. Yeah, I feel like, relationships, you take them very seriously and they weigh, heavily on you because they have so much worth to you. That's why, a singular person can really affect you like this. And I feel like that's also something that you're really being called to evaluate here. Letting, like, letting people affect you to that extent, and B, like, putting such a heavy worth on something like love, right? Now, in the position of your fear here with the Six of Pentacles, I feel like this person has like really instilled a fear of breadcrumbing. Okay, and this is something that happens so commonly nowadays in dating, in connections. Like, so it's definitely not like it's not an irrational fear at all. It's extremely rational. You don't even need to have, had that happen to you for you to be fearful of it happening. It's a very genuine fear, especially when it comes to love nowadays. And I mean, also, if you put that in the area of hopes, right? It's, hoping for a connection with a dynamic of equal give and take, right? Now, lastly, in your outcome here, we have the Hanged Man, which is speaking to a change in perception, right? And I feel like that was kind of the point of this whole situation, was to change your perception, not only on yourself and, like how you give to others, how you treat yourself, but also, to change your views on relationships, on love in general. So, you don't put so much worth into them so they really affect you so heavily if things don't work out. Like, yeah, love is nice, love is great, but love is not the best thing in the world. And some people, love isn't even really all that important. And I would never say that love in the romantic sense is a need, because, if you're independent enough, you don't need love. But that can also become toxic, in a sense that'll become like a toxic independence, right? To where you don't feel like you need somebody else. And again, I'm not saying that you should feel like you need somebody else, but it's normal to want love in your life. It's normal to want somebody else, but to need them, to need love in your life like that very easily slips into like a toxic mindset. All right, Cancer, these are the messages that I have for you tonight, and I do hope they serve you well. Do be gentle with yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye now.